Good journey, everyone. Welcome to Space Oats Live, a Star Wars podcast. I am the Crucial Crew member, and today we have a lot of Star Wars for you. We got some new releases, new Star Wars releases, television programs. Didn't remember this was coming out this week. Totally forgot, and then it just happened, and I noticed today, and I started watching them. So maybe you don't know. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But also, we are of course going to still continue revisiting Andor because season 2 is upon us, as well as Star Wars Celebration, and we got some news from Star Wars Celebration that came out this week. But first, we're going to do a little thing called Not Long Ago in This Galaxy. This is a little segment that I do each and every day on this YouTube channel where I go back in time and look at some Star Wars history. So this one's a little bit one today, and we actually had something similar to this not too long ago. But this actually happened in 1989. 1989, March 19th. It was on a Sunday. It was on a Sunday night when Return of the Jedi made its network premiere on NBC. Earned a 15.1 rating and was number 31 in the weekly television spots of most watched television releases that week. So 31, I don't know. I don't really know, like, what. I mean, you want to be in the top 10, right? Now, it's always been trouble and hard times for any type of blockbuster movie to get into the top 10. So it's no surprise that it didn't make the top 10. But this was a big deal. I mean, 1989, you think about, for one thing, it's hard to get into the top 10 around that time period because not everybody's going to watch something that has already been out for a while if they've seen it. Because there's other network shows where this was a time before streaming, before pausing, before recording. So it really was, unless it was, you really didn't watch television that much and you were a huge Star Wars fan, which even if you were a huge Star Wars fan, most households didn't have many TVs. So it's like, you could have been like, Mom, Dad, I really want to watch Star Wars tonight. And they were like, no, I'm sorry, this is on. And it's the premiere episode or whatever, and you can't do anything about it because they're not going to be able to record it or anything like that. And they could be like, you've already seen Star Wars, right? So that was a big thing back then. It was tough to get into a big spot with a blockbuster movie. So, it didn't always happen. But Return of the Jedi, number 31 in the ratings that week, 15.1 rating, premiering on NBC March 19th, 1989. So almost 6 years after the release of the movie, which is a long time. It's a long time for something to go, right? And speaking of how far we've come, now look at all the Star Wars that we got, right? There was a lot of dark times. Disney bought Lucasfilm. We've had a lot of series. Some people agree with most of them as being great. Some people not so much favorites, that have happened. But I'm totally fine with most of the series. I think they've all been fantastic. I enjoy watching them. I wish some of them weren't canceled. And I look forward to seeing what's on the horizon. And especially Andor Season 2. I've been watching Andor Season 1, revisiting these. Haven't really been watching them too religiously as of yet. I'm kind of like taking my time with them. But it's been pretty cool, some of the things that have came out. I don't know if anybody's had the chance to go back, because you can go back and watch the YouTube video that happened last Thursday with Tony Gilroy. Many special guests with those that were in the series. And we had some really cool stuff here going on. So I'm bear with me real quick, because I kind of just wanted to have something, my other camera on here. I want to make sure that I'm not getting double vocals. So give me one moment here. I just want to make sure that I turn my microphone off. I think I have it off. Yes, I do. Okay, cool. And I don't have any voice coming out of there. So I just wanted to kind of have that extra camera on the side just in case something happens. But yeah, so like it was Tony Gilroy, the actress that played Bix, Melshi, Guinevere Riley, who was Mon Mothma. Diego Luna kind of stopped by and did a little pre-recorded message. I would have liked to seen him live, honestly. But Tony Gilroy did a great job just going through, especially with those characters. They picked out some scenes. Didn't really give much information on what's to come, but just little teeny tiny little hints. Took some questions from anybody that could send them in. I wish I could have watched live and been able to send in questions, but I was at work. I really didn't get a chance to watch it that much that night, but I've watched it a few times afterwards and listened to it a few times afterwards, and it was a really great stream. So I highly recommend that. It's pretty cool to go back and revisit season 1 with Tony Gilroy. That is on the Star Wars YouTube channel. You can also watch the first 3 episodes of Andor on the Star Wars Disney Plus YouTube channel, as well as right now for limited time, if you don't have Disney Plus, Andor season 1 is streaming on Hulu, which is pretty fantastic. The first 3 episodes, I love the story arcs, and I love how really every story arc is about 3 episodes, which is pretty fantastic. And I love how they're going to continue that, but this time instead of waiting a week to find out what happens in that arc, we're getting all 3 episodes each week. So we're getting a story every week, almost like a mini movie each week, which is just going to be so much fun to be able to do that. And I'm really looking forward to that type of release. I hope that they continue that kind of release. I think that would do better for Star Wars than an episode a week. I think it would do better a lot of formats with these types of storytelling, like the Marvel series. Maybe they can even do that in Marvel, do these 3 episode story arcs. I think it's a fantastic. He even said it is kind of a nightmare for podcasters. A lot of podcasters like to either stream and do watches. They also like to do an episode and then immediately talk about that episode afterwards, which that's going to be a long podcast to do that. And I know people that do those podcasts, and I feel for them, but I really think that this is a format that I'm going to enjoy, and I really look forward to it. So I hope that people embrace it, and I really look forward to almost like a Star Wars mini movie every week. I think it's going to be fantastic. Don't know what you think about that with the 3 episode story arc each week and only 4 weeks of Andor season 2, but I'm looking forward to it. StarWars.com has been going through a revisited of each of the story arcs, which has been pretty cool. The second story arc, which is kind of like how Cassian really got into being a part of the rebellion in a way, even though he didn't really know it yet. With the second story arc, kind of like it really making him into a rebel, which he really wasn't even committed to it as of yet, but he was hired to do that from Luthen. That story arc was one of my favorite story arcs, honestly. I thought it was fantastic. It really ramped it up as far as season 1 of Andor. You had those 3 episodes, Aldhani, The Axe Forgets, those 3 episodes of Aldhani. Or was it 4 episodes? Was it 3 or 4? Was Aldhani one of the episodes? But the Eye, and then the announcement, which was a fantastic episode. So what a fantastic story arc that was. I'm going to have a cat here in a minute. I'm going to try to keep her away from the cameras. So really, really fantastic to be able to go back and revisit these amazing episodes. The One Way Out, Narkina 5 story arc, again, an amazing story arc. Kind of just, that story arc was just, it's so great. And it did something for the series that I don't think really anything has really ever done with Star Wars. It really just told the story of how just brutal the Empire is to people. um, what they do for, just somebody that doesn't really have a place in the galaxy in a way, taking advantage of like imprisoning really people and enslaving them. And you really get to see really the dark side of the Empire with that story arc. At the end of that story arc with the prisoners escaping, we don't know, how many people escaped. Maybe we'll get to revisit some more people that we don't know about. I would love to see and find out that Kino Loy actually did survive, and somebody helped him get to shore and helped him escape. That would be fantastic to have Andy Serkis return as Kino, just as a cameo in some way or another, would be amazing. But we got to see and track Cassian and Melshi, kind of get to see that bond happen, which we revisit Melshi coming back in Rogue One, and we are going to get to see him in Andor season 2, which is pretty amazing. So can't wait to see how that storyline continues as well. I love season 1. I can't wait to continue to watch this season as it's building up to season 2. Season 2 seems like it's going to be a great time, and it's going to happen during Star Wars Celebration, which is fantastic. So yeah, so really amazing. I haven't been displaying anything as of yet, so I am going to start putting something up right now, because Star Wars Celebration, we've been wondering, what's going to be revealed. We know a lot of the guests that are going to be there. But one thing that we haven't really been able to think about is, how are we going to plan this thing, And boy, did we get a great announcement this week. And it's going to be fantastic to really be able to start planning, because we have the panel schedule. The panel schedule is here. Yeah, I can't do that. The panel schedule is here. So fantastic to be able to finally get the panel schedule. It's we just have so much coming with this panel schedule. So, and I want to pull it up just to kind of go through a couple of highlights of this panel and of each day, because I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be fantastic. But so the main event on Friday, and if you've ever been to a Star Wars Celebration before, you'll know that the main event is actually kind of like the big reveals happen in the morning. And usually it's at 11 o'clock, honestly. And this year it's starting a little bit early, 10 o'clock actually. 10 o'clock with this amazing first panel of the day. And we are going to have in the celebration stage, or in the Galaxy stage, Twin Sun stage, basically all the main stages at 10 o'clock. The opening, the Mandalorian and Grogu panel. So this is going to be the big one, which I'm guessing that we are going to get. We're gonna get maybe some reveals, a special look, a trailer possibly. I don't know. It might be too early for a trailer because it's not coming out until next year. Maybe a teaser, but I'm sure we're gonna get some kind of special look with extra footage, which really looking forward to. Hope I can make that panel, get into that panel, and be able to see that. I don't care if I have to stream it, but sometimes in the streamed ones they don't show everything, which is kind of mean because the selection process of getting into these stages is just, it's so hard. And I really want to kind of get a feel for what this movie is going to be about. My guess is it's going to be really a Mandalorian season 4. condensed down into a movie, is really my thought process. So that happens at 10 o'clock. That is going to be a definite try for me to get into. The other thing that happens on Friday, I know my wife was really actually excited about the one at 12 o'clock. It's Ahsoka's Underworld, and it's mythology, folklore, fairy tales, and Joseph Campbell. Usually at Star Wars Celebrations, there is a panel usually tied into Joseph Campbell, because that was big into George Lucas's themings of his movies, the works of Joseph Campbell. So that was one that she is really excited about. I might end up going to that one, but I don't know. It'll be noontime. I might just be walking around and checking out the floor. I'm surprised, I think she's done Women of Star Wars before. This one is kind of like costuming across the galaxy. So with the costumes just being part of it, I think that's why she's going to choose to go to the Ahsoka Underworld panel instead. So Light and Magic, this one surprised me, and I don't mind the surprise. I think it's going to be great. Light and Magic, if you know, is the series about Industrial Light and Magic, which was a fantastic series, and we got that reveal and panel in Star Wars Celebration London 2 years ago. There apparently is going to be a season 2, which is going to be is a kind of a shock and surprise. And who knows when that's going to come out. Maybe that'll be kind of like an extra Star Wars thing that we get this year, because we're kind of limited on Star Wars series. So maybe this is something that was put together, and in that kind of absence of having another live action something Star Wars, which I'm okay with. I loved the first season, and I didn't know there was going to be a second season. But yeah, so Light and Magic, a glimpse into the magic of season 2. So I'm guessing Lawrence Kasdan is going to be there. And who knows what other special guests might show up for that. But can't wait for that. That's actually, I think I might try to get there at 1 o'clock. Another probably one that I might think about going to, I'm trying to think of it. If there's anything else on Friday, the one that kind of sticks out to me, again, we're in Japan, right? So there is one at 2 o'clock, the very origin of Japanese collectibles, 1978. That's in the collector stage. That might be interesting, especially being in Japan. And there is another one at 2:30 that is very Japanese connected. It's telling stories across cultures, Star Wars in Japan, which is might be an interesting one. And then we have Lucasfilm's animation 20th anniversary, which is pretty cool. I didn't realize it was the 20th anniversary, but that's a pretty big panel, getting streamed also on the Galaxy stage as well as being on the Celebration stage. And that one's at 3:30 on Friday. So a lot of really cool stuff happening. One of the last panels of the day, if you've never heard of it, this George Lucas Super Live Adventure, which was a variety act from Lucasfilm Productions, live in Japan for a run. And I thought that's just something that I've watched some of it, and it's one of those corny things, kind of like the holiday special, and I'm sure it has a cult following in Japan. And that's at 4:30. That's one of the last panels of the day. So pretty fantastic lineup for Friday. Saturday, the main panel, Saturday, 10 o'clock, is at the Celebration stage, is Andor, A Star Wars Story. So this is the season 2 kickoff, because the episodes will be coming the following week. So I believe that this is where we are going to get to see a lot of clips. I don't know. We've already had the trailers, right? So maybe you know how they've done usually in the past, where when they invite people back to the event to watch Andor, like the first episode or something, they'll usually show like an 8 to 10 minute scene live. So I'm guessing that we'll be able to see that, so that's amazing. And that happens at 10 o'clock. And I'm sure, everybody that has been announced that's going to be there. Maybe there'll be some surprises, but we know Diego Luna's going to be there. We know Alan Tudyk's going to be there. I think Ben Mendelsohn's going to be there. So we got a lot of people there from the season 2. So I guess they're going to be live, definitely coming to that stage, and we're going to get a little bit of a deeper look and feel for what's coming the following Tuesday, which is going to be fantastic to be able to actually really get amped up for Andor season 2, which is going to be amazing. I mean, we all kind of knew that was going to be one of the main releases for that day. An interesting panel at noon, because it's, it is the Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary. There's one called The Science of Revenge of the Sith. So that might be an interesting one to go to. But there is another big reveal panel, I believe, on Saturday at 1 o'clock, and that one is Ahsoka. I always do this. I always forget about this going off. One day, I'm going to remember and have that not turn off on me. But Ahsoka panel streamed on the Galaxy stage and the Twin Sun stage, and live on the Celebration stage. I'm guessing Rosario Dawson's going to be there. Whoever else might show up will be amazing. Yeah, I mean, you got to think that there's got to be some reveal, right? Season 2, we know, is not coming this year, I don't think. But I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get. Are we going to get a release date? Are we going to get a trailer? Are we going to get a special look? We really don't know much about what's going to happen in Ahsoka season 2. So maybe we're going to get a cast. I don't know. It would be interesting to know, like, what's going to happen, or how are they going to recast Baylan Skoll, from Bray Davidson. There's a lot that can be. So I think that this panel is actually my top want to go to, honestly, is this Ahsoka season 2 panel, or this Ahsoka panel, actually. This is the one that I'm actually most excited about, I think, because we don't know much about it yet, right? So I don't know if this is everybody else's, big want to go to, but it's definitely going to be mine. There's an interesting panel at 1 o'clock as well, if I can't get in there for something, but it's called Cantina Japan. I don't know what that is, but I'm curious about that one. What else is happening? On Saturday? That I was looking into. There's a panel with Doug Chang, that's pretty awesome. He's a really cool dude. Got to be an interesting one. A conversation with Oscar Isaac on the Galaxy stage might be an interesting one for fans of Poe. And then, you know what? So I just had to say this one. I'm not going to do this one, but I did it at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. And this was the screening of the Siege of Mandalore. That story arc from the Clone Wars. Watching that live on a huge screen with tons of Star Wars fans was just so much fun. That's on the Celebration stage at 3:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. So if you just want to chill with Star Wars fans and watch a great story arc, I recommend that one. At 4 o'clock on the fan stage, the Art of Japanese Star Wars Vegetable Carving, which is an interesting one. The Dad Batch, by the way, their podcast is live there at 4 o'clock on the HoloNet stage. So that's pretty cool. They're a pretty cool group of individuals that cosplay the Bad Batch, as well as many other ones. On the University stage, we got some Indiana Jones stuff, right? Young Indy to Young Annie, how the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles paved the way for the Star Wars prequels. So that'd be an interesting panel to go to as well. So that is kind of like my kind of wrap of the cool stuff on Saturday. And then the final day, because remember, this is only a 3-day celebration, kind of crazy. You got to pack all this in 3 days. But Sunday, April the 20th, 4:20, we got the the big reveal panel, which kind of seems a little bit, not a big reveal, but usually on the last day it's not a big thing, but still something that I'm really excited about, and that's the first look of Star Wars Visions Volume 3, the animated crossover mashup of Star Wars and Japanese animation, which is all Japanese animation again this year. And that is going to be at the Celebration stage, streamed on the Galaxy and Twin Sun stage as well. And we're going to get our first look. So I'm guessing we might be able to get to see an episode or two, which would be pretty awesome. Probably just one episode, which is what usually happens. Pretty awesome. I'm kind of interested in meeting some of the 501st garrisons, but the Japanese garrison has a panel as well on the Senate stage, celebrating 25 years in the 501st. But I won't be able to get to that if I'm at the Visions panel. And then I talked about influence of Akira Kurosawa with George Lucas, and of course there's going to be a panel on Kurosawa and Star Wars at 11:15 on the University stage. So that would be an interesting one that I might try to pop into if I can. At 11:30 on the Twin Sun stage is Disney Experiences, Building the Galaxy with Walt Disney Imagineering. Of course, being a cast member, I am going to have to try to pop in there and see who is there from Walt Disney representing Star Wars within the parks and experiences. And can't wait to see what maybe that they have announced, and maybe we'll get to get a sneak preview run through of what some of the new missions are that we might get to take part in the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run in Batuu, East and West. So that'll be pretty amazing if we get to see a little bit of a sneak peek at that. ILM has a really cool panel at 12 o'clock with ILM presenting The Mandalorian and Beyond, behind the scenes of The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and more. You never know what kind of cool little snippets you might find with that as well. And then that about wraps it up, really for the day, I think. Actually, Industrial Light and Magic 50 years at 2 o'clock on the Galaxy stage, 50 years of magic. I can't believe it's been 50 years of Industrial Light and Magic. But if you think about it, we're getting close to the 50-year mark of Star Wars. And Industrial Light and Magic was formed before, so we're hitting that 50 year already. So that'll be a cool celebration, 50 years of Industrial Light and Magic. You kind of wonder if George Lucas is showing up or not. There's a couple panels where he might, be either streaming or there. I don't know. He hasn't been to a celebration in a while. So again, going back to streaming, there's a screening of Star Wars Rebels finale. So I'm sure that's going to be like a 3-parter, 2-parter, where you can watch that with fans. It's in the Twin Sun stage, so it's not in the biggest stage. And then, of course, we have our closing ceremony, 3:30 on Sunday, streamed on the Galaxy and Twin Sun stage as well. This is where we get to close everything out, revisit what we got to see, hear, learn about, enjoy, and we will get the announcement of where the next Star Wars celebration will be, which will be in 2027, which will be the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. So guess what, guys? I'm thinking we're going back to California. Anaheim, I believe it. I'm going to predict it now. Anaheim, California, 2027. Probably the weekend of the opening of Star Wars. I mean, you got to have a Star Wars celebration on the actual day that Star Wars was released, right? So that's my guess. Start planning now, right? But those are your panels. You can head over to StarWarsCelebration.com. The panels are there. By the way, some Lightspeed passes bookings came out last Friday, which I did get my booking for the Celebration store on Saturday at around the time that my panel that I really, really want to go to is. Who why didn't they get this panel thing out there first? Now, I'm going to be in the store probably, unless I just send my wife to the store, and I don't know if she wants to. I don't know what I want to do. Last year I didn't get much because a lot was sold out because it didn't come until the last day. But yeah, but I did get my light speed pass. So if I have the light speed pass, maybe I can get it in and out of there real quick. I don't think I'll get into the live panel though, if that happens. But oh well, that happens, right? If you are not going to Star Wars Celebration, and I didn't go for the first couple years, on YouTube, Star Wars Celebration will stream live content each and every day. You'll get to see clips and things of what's going on. You can see stuff live that's going on from the live stage. It is pretty great. Sometimes you don't get to see all the trailers and the snips of what's going on. It'll black out. It won't show to people at home because they can't really monitor if you're going to record at home. And some of the things they don't want shown to the public as of yet. They want kind of like teased, want word of mouth to get bubbling up. But it's still an amazing experience to watch some of this at home. I know not everybody's going to be able to go to Japan. I'm very fortunate. I love this, that I get to go. It's fantastic. It's a big sacrifice though, but it is so much fun. It's so much fun to be able to go with Star Wars fans. If you ever get a chance to go to Star Wars Celebration, if you've not been, I highly encourage you to go. But you know what? If you're home and you want something to do, guess what got released this week? Yesterday we got Young Jedi Adventures, final part of season 2. These final episodes have come out. They've been released. I've been watching them all today. I'm probably going to have to watch some of these last episodes again because, I don't know all the stories yet. But they've been fantastic so far. We've had some pretty amazing stories in this one. But yeah, the complete season 2 now available. You can also watch some new Fun with Nubs shorts. I think they released some more. I haven't looked into that yet, but that's on the YouTube Star Wars Kids channel. Kai Brightstar, Liz Soleil, everybody's favorite Pooba Nubs, completing their missions with these final episodes here. One of the episodes, the first episodes, which I almost thought was like one of the episodes from last year, when it came out, but I guess because there was a lot of episodes with Prince Cyrus, but Kai Brightstar, Prince Cyrus, the episode Unmasked, was a crazy awesome episode. It was a full episode. Normally these episodes are split 2 episodes per block. But this one, the first one, was actually just all one episode, Unmasked. And this is where, obviously, if you can kind of think from the name of the episode, we all knew that Prince Cyrus was Tabor, but the young Jedis find out and are able to unmask him. And there's a choice there that Kai's trying to get him to make, and sway him to make the right choice. I'm not going to say which choice he makes, so that's kind of up to you to watch that one. But that is the first episode of the series. The next episode is Just Like Wes. Wes being the other Jedi that was introduced last year, coming to Tanu, and Kai really looks up to him, and Kai really kind of, he sees a lot of his lightsaber like twirls and things like that, and wants to do the same thing. And Kai definitely looks like I do. When trying to twirl a lightsaber, just not looking great at all. But then gets sent on a mission with a coaxium delivery to Zephyr, and runs into the Comet Runners, a group of pirates trying to steal the coaxium. And that story kind of unfolds in that direction. Are they able to fend off the pirates and get that coaxium there. You'll have to find out. The second part of that second episode is called Raxlow to the Rescue. If you remember Raxlow, he's that long-legged chicken alien that we all love, who likes to do a lot of mining operations, which has caused some destruction in the past to ecosystems. Kind of that eco-friendly conservation teaching in Star Wars to these kids, which is pretty cool. But they go to Andraven, which is the snow planet. And the Gangles show up. The pirates, the main pirates now, kind of, the Gangles. Nubs, Liss, and Kai are trapped by the Gangles. And Raxlow has to save him, and he's there actually mining these Tenga rocks, which are an energy source for the Andravens. He ends up helping him out. The next episode starts off with another episode with Raxlow called The Helpful Harvester, on a different planet this time. And here they are back on Tanu, and they are mining and looking for Lumo Cave mushrooms, which are luminescent mushrooms, and they're kind of in an area where it's hard to get in. And there's these two Twi'lek from villagers, Locke and Jor. Jor is Locke's son, and them two and Nubs go and gather some of the mushrooms and are trapped by a falling Tanu tree. And then they're eventually rescued by Raxlow and the young Jedi friends, which you can kind of see how that all plays out in that episode. The next episode, the second one of that episode, is Lost Little Droid, where they are on Kunda Minor. They've been there before. That is that kind of like sandy, dusty planet, which we have so many of in Star Wars. And we get to see Bragg again. Bragg is the Basilisk, which, if you know the Basilisk, they have the 4 arms like Dexter, Jetster, and some other characters from Star Wars. This is the 3rd episode that Bragg was in. And they're caught in a sandstorm. Bragg's droid, her water-finding droid, B3, is kind of lost and is ended up being taken by the Dostans, a group of individual alien creatures. Bragg kind of has misunderstanding about them. And they encounter some Drendoks in a cave. The Drendoks, I'm not sure, but I think the Drendoks are the same creature that's in Rise of Skywalker, the eel-like creatures underground. So we gotta see how that gets to play out in that episode. The next episode that I watched was Tanu's Fastest. We go back to Tanu. We actually get to see a monopod race. So we know about pod racing, right? Well, these are monopods. They only have 1 engine. So pretty cool, fun episode. There is a Doug that likes to cheat, just like Sebulba, but this one's name is Jaj Omi. And the main kind of draw, the main good guy monopod racer, Winston Frang. He's Pantoran, and Nash is just in love with him. Nash thinks he's the greatest, and his engineering droid, JK-46, is hidden by Jaj. So these monopods, have a pilot, and then they have an engineering droid to kind of help them out through these races. Nash ends up becoming the engineer, a human engineer, which is kind of unheard of. And then RJ and the young Jedi become their pit crew because Jaj takes out the pit droids throughout the race. But Nash ends up piloting in the end and also wins the race. So they win together. Really fun episode that one is. Home Sweet Temple is the next episode. Kai makes a mess of the Jedi Temple library, needs to clean up while the others go off on an adventure. Ace, I forget her last name, shows up, and her droid JNX-09, who is a master codebreaker droid, show up. Their ship is damaged. Bolcha the Hutt is after her and her droid because he had stole Jinx, and then she stole him back, and he wants him back. This is the second appearance of Bulcha the Hutt in the Young Jedi Adventure series. D, one of the temple droids, kind of helps out Jai in this adventure, fending off the attack of Bulcha the Hutt, with Master Z coming back with the rest to help finish up at the end. The Firehawk feud is the next episode. That is has Draven Bosch in it. He's the Moldarp, which you've seen that alien kind of before in a number of different areas, but Canto Bight was where one of them was gambling in that episode, in that part of The Last Jedi. This is the fourth appearance of Draven Bosch in the Young Jedi Adventure series. Him and his droid, K2PL, kind of help look for him when he gets lost. Kai, List, Nubs are out looking for creatures when they kind of wander into the fog that everybody else kind of gets lost in. They find K2, and then they realize that Draven's looking for more creatures. He's looking for the Firehawks, and we get a cool adventure there. The Chop Suey Calamity, cool fun name, right? Romy, ROM1, the droid that is Wes's droid. Him, RJ, 83, Nash, Nubs, and they kind of go, they have a broken accelerator fixing up one of the ships that Nash is working on, and need to go to Marla Janara. She's the junk dealer, the Shadra fan junk dealer. Another junk dealer, Eunice, steals the broken accelerator, and they have to go get it back from her. She's got some massives. Remember the massives, the reptiles that lizard-like reptiles that you see with the Tuskens? It's kind of where you know them from the best. And they end up getting that accelerator back. Next episode was Big Pooba Problems. This was a fun episode because this is the one where we get to meet another Pooba. So Nubs and Liss run into NP87 and Zephos, and they're making a delivery to Kublop Springs. Zephos is the big Pooba, the adult Pooba, and it's a fun episode as they're trying to get this delivery from their crashed ship to Kublop Springs, and Nubs and Liss help them out in doing so. The last episode that I watched was Best Bounty Buddies. I kind of started watching it and then kind of got sidetracked because I was doing this. So I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that along with all the rest of the episodes. But again, taking place in Kublop Springs, we get to see Anson Strung, which we've seen before. She is the Dawutin. The Dawutins are the same species as that we know of the Ninth Sister, once Jedi turned Inquisitor. And it looks like a pretty cool episode as I first started. And I am looking at an episode right now, and is that a Dianoga? That is pretty cool. It is a Dianoga, a big love Dianogas coming back. Oh, so great. One of my favorite side characters in Star Wars, the Dianogas. So fantastic. Can't wait to go back and watch some of these episodes. More returning characters I'm seeing. So fantastic. But anyway, Young Jedi Adventures, all the rest of the second season has been released. A lot of fun returning characters, some new characters looks like, and yeah, we get to have some fun with that. So yeah, fantastic, right? Pretty cool that we have that series out. A little bit of things to watch until we get more information on Andor Season 2 coming not too long from now. So fun times in the Star Wars world. But that is it for this week. Hope everybody is having a great, fantastic week. Thank you for watching later. If you're watching this later, please thumbs up if you like this content that I'm providing to you. Again, I wish I could be in my room with like all my Star Wars stuff, but it's just kind of, everything's still kind of going crazy in this house with my little cats just having not so much fun connecting together. So we're just all messed up here. But anyway, it's been fantastic bringing this content to you and enjoying watching Star Wars and just having fun with every day with Star Wars. end of this week, I think we got some panel selections happening for Star Wars Celebration. So be ready for that if you're going to jump on those when they happen. I think tomorrow maybe. Yeah, I got to look that up and find out. But always fun trying to get into that stuff. And yeah, it's going to be crazy again, I'm sure, as it was last week. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe to this video, hit those notifications so you know when I go live, either for Space Oats Live, which happens every Wednesday, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or my Not Long Ago in This Galaxy segment, giving you a little bit of Star Wars history each and every day. Again, thanks for watching. Remember to do something Star Wars. Watch some Star Wars, listen to some Star Wars, read some Star Wars, play some Star Wars, do something Star Wars. Most importantly, whatever you're doing, may the stars light your way. Have a great evening, everyone, and hopefully I'll see you next time.